Hello everyone, and welcome to the first Diamond Dynasty gameplay on this channel. I know I said I'd have the franchise mode video out today, but that's taking a bit longer to make, so today I'll bring you this Diamond Dynasty game. On the screen now you can see my lineup. I do have quite a stacked team. Griffey really is probably the best player on this team. He's one of my favourite players in this game, along with that Beltran. It is a full Diamond lineup. The rotation is stacked as well. Right now I am in the CS division. I did make World Series last season, but I'm working my way back up there and hopefully should make it by the end of this season. So jumping into this game, my opponent's got a decent team, a lot of gold up on inside edge. He's pitching James Paxton. He does have a Corey Seager who tends to destroy me every time I play him. And a Daniel Murphy. He's got Miggy as well, so James Paxton does throw pretty hard, so it's going to be a tough game. I've got my creative player leading off. He just flies out to centre field. Paxton is one of the harder gold pitches to hit I've found. The combination of throwing, 100 miles an hour, plus he's got some decent per-nines, it makes it hard to hit. David Wright does get caught looking on a very, very good curveball. Inside just completely froze me on there. Griffey's up now, and he hits one pretty well out to centre, but just missed getting a hold of that one and sending it out. Griffey's stats against lefties are still pretty good. He does have that 96 power, but his contact is a little bit low. The first batter for my opponent ends up flying straight to centre, and Griffey's of course got a hold of that one. I do have Steven Strasburg pitching, who's one of my better pitchers I've found. But in this at-bat you'll see this next pitch, I leave a curveball over the middle of the plate and Rizzo sends it out. That is one of the easier pitches to hit, the curveball down. I've found that a lot of players have a real easy time just dropping the PCI straight down as soon as they see it's the curveball, and if you leave it at the bottom of the zone, it gets destroyed every time. But we are able to bounce back after that 2-run bomb by Rizzo and getting out with the Player of the Month, Correa, playing second base, who is he is definitely one of my better players. Having that secondary at second is really quite beneficial. Paxton drops one there, but he's still able to make the play. Cal Ripken's one of probably my worst hitters. He's struggling, but his defense more than makes up for his average hitting for me right now. Reggie Jackson's able to foul one off. I had good timing on it, but I was just having a hard time this game getting the PCI way up there, particularly at the start. But we are able to turn on this one and just get under it as Reggie flies out to right. And nothing else happens after that. I think Goldie ends up just getting out. So going into the next inning, we have, I believe that was Corey Seager, and he flies out to left field where I've got my all-star Carlos Beltran. Just a complete freak. If you guys don't have him, pick him up. He plays way better than his stats, and that 99 power just destroys. And obviously being a switch hitter with good speed, that's really good. So Strasburg's dealing, and I managed to recover from giving up that 2-out bomb in the first inning to Rizzo, and gets out of that inning with no runs or any hits given up. So this is Beltran up now. This first pitch, this is a problem I still have. I thought I had good timing on that and decent PCI placement, but he pulls it foul. And that was just a curveball down the middle, similar to the pitch that Rizzo hit out. But after that, I think Beltran will just end up getting out. He got me chasing a change-up low there. And then I think he comes back with a fastball. And I was just frozen on it. Wasn't expecting a fastball down like that. Correa ends up getting out before Strasburg, and then Strasburg strikes out in a low curveball. So Paxton's pitching well. I've been unable to touch him thus far in this game. Ripken makes a nice play up the middle. That's what I was saying about his defense. Having that 94 arm strength just means he's able to gun out. Even those fast runners, the guys with the 90 speed, on those dribblers, particularly up the middle, he's able to get to him because he's got good fielding reaction, and that arm strength lets him just cannon the ball over. And you really notice it when you play with those guys in the 60s or 70s, particularly the arm strength, you realise actually how important that is. So back to the bottom of the inning. Paxton's able to get my creative player looking on a fastball down again, and then David Wright's able to turn on one that I think he's got 97 power against lefties, but it's just a fly out. I was getting under some of those balls. So we're going back, I think that's the fourth, the bottom of the fourth. We're able to get a strikeout, and also get him looking on a low fastball. I find that low fastball, especially if you're throwing a lot of change-ups and sliders down, if you can set up that low fastball with those sort of pitches, a lot of players will see that pitch coming in low and think it's a change-up that's going to drop out the zone. So if you're able to spot that fastball low and in, it's a very good pitch to get people looking, especially for a third strike. My opponent is able to get a 2-out double, but nothing comes of that as we managed to strike out Corey Seager, I think. Goldschmidt's able to work a walk here with 2 down, hoping to cash him in with Carlos Beltran, who ends up just rolling over to third base. And that should end the inning. So not much is happening against Paxton. Really, our only base run has come from a walk, which was just to Paul Goldschmidt. So knowing that the bottom of my lineup was coming up, I started to warm up Rizzo Iglesias, who I like to use because he's got decent stamina and he's got good stuff, especially his sinker is very good and he throws pretty hard. So I was warming him up to hopefully just go the rest of the game. He is able to get a jammed single up the middle, but we are able to turn a double play when there was none out, so we've now have a run on the third with 2 down, hoping to try and keep him just to 1 run. He leaves his starting pitcher in when he probably should have pinch hit there to try and get that extra run in, but we just managed to get Paxton to fly out to Paul Goldschmidt, so that'll end the inning. So going into this next inning, we got Cal Ripken leading off, or that's Carlos Correa, who is able to turn on one, but again, I was just getting under it. My PCI placement wasn't great this game. I was getting under a lot of pitches and just flying out to the warning track or just to left field or centre field. I do decide to pull Steven Strasburg now, and I go to Lorenzo Cain, who's one of my favourite pinch hitters off the bench. He gets a hold of one and sends one to centre, but again, I was just under it. And even with that 90-something power and 90-something contact, it's not going far. So we've got 2 down now, and my creative player's up. I take a pitch outside, and then he throws one basically down the middle, and we turn on it and hit it out. Having that creative player at catcher with 90 speed, very good hitting stat, switch hitter. Say what you want about it, but you're putting yourself at a disadvantage if you don't use it, and that's one of the reasons why. You've just got a great hitter that can play anywhere in the field and anywhere in the lineup. David Wright says, I'm not missing out on the party, and he decides to go back-to-back on the next pitch. So we've taken the lead now, so now the score is 2-1, and we got Junior up against the lefty, so he leaves one up, which I was able to turn on, but I was just out in front of it. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this next pitch. I was expecting him to go back to that high fastball, but I saw as a curve and I was able to react and sit back a bit, and we go lefty, back to back with Ken Griffey Jr. So we've got the lead now. Now it's 3-1 after being completely no hit for the majority of the game. And then following that bomb, Cal Ripken's up and rips a single into left. And then we go to one of my favourite hitters, Reggie Jackson. And again, lefty on lefty. Rips one into right field. Ripken's able to come all the way around to score, so now we increase the lead to 4-1. Even against the lefty, Reggie Jackson's just unreal. I don't think I'll ever take him out my lineup. Not even for someone, maybe a guy like Andre Dawson. I do want to try out that new Matt Kemp, so I'm waiting for the prices to drop with the All-Star packs coming out after the season's over, and some of those All-Star packs you get from doing the Ranked Seasons missions like home runs. So he might be a new addition to the squad, but I don't see him replacing a guy like Beltran or Reggie, and Griffey's not leaving. So my opponent is able to get a single into left, but we do strike out. I think that was Nelson Cruz. And Rizzo's up now, and he just rolls over to first, and Goldie's able to turn the double play from first base. I do like Goldschmidt's defense, but sometimes he just goes full retard and will let a ground ball that he should field easily past him, but that's just the game's animations being bad. So Beltran's up now, and this is what I mean about 99 power. It seems like almost every game this guy hits a bomb for me, and he takes his pitcher, who I think was Gregerson, who's not great, he takes him deep. So that's a 5-1 lead now for the boys. Cray is a bit late on a curveball that I probably should have handled a lot better, and actually his right fielder drops it. That's why having good defense in right field. I think that was Nelson Cruz. His defense is somewhere in the 50s or 60s. That's what ends up happening, and that's the risk that you take when you use those poor fielders. We weren't able to capitalise on it as David Wright flies out with 2 out and ends the inning. So coming up, I think this is the 7th, and Raisel Iglesias gives up a double to. Actually, this looks like it will be a single, but the runner tries to go for second and stupidly turns back. He might have been able to get in, and usually in this situation, I find it best to just run him back to the the lowest base. So in that case, just run him back to first. If he gets back to first, it's only a runner at first base instead of getting in a rundown where their stupid animations can screw you over, and let them try and turn around and just run into your fielder and tag him. So Miggy gets a base hit into left field, and then Daniel Murphy ends up just flying out, so no damage done. As Beltran makes the play in left, and I think we're going into the bottom of the 8th with Griffey up, or the top of the 8th rather, and Griffey rips one into right centre field. We are able to. I thought we were going to push for 2 there, but we end up just taking the safe option and going back to first base. Cow's up, and he gets his second hit of the game into left field. It feels like Ripken either just pops out and has no power at all, or he'll just rip singles through the hole. I don't have a lot of success hitting, for power with Ripken unless it's against a lefty. Beltran gets a hold of one, but only gets it into right centre field. That was another one I thought I hit a lot better than I actually did, but it happens. I just got to work on squaring it up a bit better. He pinch hits Conforto, who's someone that, especially with inside edge, you've got to be very careful with, and he's able to hit a double off the wall. Or actually hit a single off the wall rather. He decides to go back to first base, doesn't want to make the same mistake as last time. So he does have Cespedes up now, and Iglesias gives up a base hit to Cespedes, and on that ball down the line, Beltran decides to take his time with it, and Conforto gets into third base. So now we've got runners on second or third. I think that's 1 down. I think that's Paul Goldschmidt. I'm not sure who that hitter was, but he ends up just hitting onto third base, and David Wright's able to make the play, and from there, he decides not to send the runner home, which is probably a good decision, and then I'm able to get Rizzo out. Once I realised at the start of the game this guy was late on a lot of the fastballs, but then he started to cheat on them a bit, and he was very susceptible to the off-speed and the sliders down, so I changed up my approach to pitching to this guy, and it ended up working quite well for me. We end up just flying out with a creative play to end the inning. Not much happens there. And to close out the game, I just brought in Andrew Miller. This is the All-Star card I got from one of the events when you got 12 wins. So I was able to go 12 wins in that event and managed to pick him up. And he's a good lefty, especially when you consider his Life Series card so expensive. And to close out the bottom of the 9th, he goes down pretty quickly. We're able to get a broken bat on Corey Seager, which just pops up to the catcher, and Miggy gets one that rolls foul, comes back fair, and then Miller makes the play. So that's a quick and easy way to end the game. So thank you all for watching. Hope to have some more Diamond Dynasty games and franchise games up soon, and see you later.